To understand this a bit better, let's remove the obstacles of nailing the right reverb settings for a vocal line and concentrate on what happens when a vocal reverb is triggered. The minute a sound is sent to a reverb, the reverb will activate unless one specific parameter is utilized, that of pre-delay. The pre-delay simply denotes when the reverb is triggered. In effect, how long it takes for the reverb to kick in. A suitable pre-delay value will allow the start or onset of sung words to be unaffected for the specified pre-delay time value until the reverb kicks in. For most basic vocal reverb chores, this would be enough to guarantee a level of clarity. However, with a reverb that is ethereal and evolving, it can be problematic. The next critical parameter to shape is decay. Decay denotes how long it takes for the reverb tail to dissipate, or how long the reverb lasts for as it fades out. If we have set amounts for both, then the reverb will adhere to those values every time it is triggered by a sound. This does not allow us to shape the behavior of these values. The reverb literally kicks in and then fades out, irrespective of the duration and dynamics of the sound being fed into it. With words, this can be a real headache. Words can vary in length, dynamics, and delivery, so having a reverb triggered using the same fixed values can result in some words sounding nice and crisp on the onset, while others will smear in texture and sound lacking in clarity and energy. Using a compressor to duck a reverb is a great way to counteract these pitfalls. Because a threshold is used to trigger the compressor to compress the reverb, we can specify which words will trigger the compressor and which will pass through directly to the reverb. We then have the attack and release parameters of the compressor, which act as envelopes to shape the duct reverb. We're affecting the reverb here and not the dry vocal line being fed into it. In essence, we're reshaping the reverb's response to adhere to the words triggering it. In essence, we're creating an envelope follower to alter the fixed response of the reverb. This allows us huge flexibility and control. So how do we do all this? The first step is to use a send and return, or auxiliary, for the reverb. If you insert the reverb on the vocal channel, then the compressor will also affect the vocals as well as the reverb and anything else in its path. Next, structure a reverb using simple parameters to create the start and decay of the reverb. Do this as you normally would for a vocal line. Place the compressor after the reverb and activate the external sidechain. Feed the vocal line to the sidechain of the compressor, so the vocal line will now trigger the compressor. Remember that you're not compressing before the reverb, you're compressing after the reverb. Structure the compressor. I will show you the settings I've shaped for each parameter to help you on your way. But first, let's listen to the vocal line being fed to the reverb, and then with the sidechain triggered compressor. I'm going to run through two examples using the same compressor settings but with two different reverbs, so you can gauge how effective this method is for both traditional vocal reverbs and the more esoteric tail-based reverb delights. The two reverbs I'm using are Eventide's 2016 and Unfiltered Audio's Tails. First, the dry vocal.
Why you push at it, dig at it, I don't know. Like you need me to make some change. It's never right for you, good enough for you, so I fight with you. Why can't it just be me? Be me.
And now with the Eventide 2016 without compression.
Why you push at it, dig at it, I don't know. Like you need me to make some change. It's never right for you, good enough for you, so I fight with you. Why can't it just be me? Be me.
And now with the compressor.
Why you push at it, dig at it, I don't know. Like you need me to make some change. It's never right for you, good enough for you, so I fight with you. Why can't it just be me? Be me.
You can hear how much clearer the start of the sung words are with the compressor ducking the reverb. And another example, but using an ethereal reverb effect provided by Unfiltered Audio's Tails. First, the reverb version.
Why you push at it, dig at it, I don't know. Like you need me to make some change. It's never right for you, good enough for you, so I fight with you. Why can't it just be me? Be me.
And now with the compressed reverb version.
Why you push at it, dig at it, I don't know. Like you need me to make some change. It's never right for you, good enough for you, so I fight with you. Why can't it just be me? Be me.
I won't go into the reverb settings I've dialed in for both reverbs, as there are only 365 days in a year, but I will explain how to structure the compressor. Once you've created an auxiliary track, place the reverb in the first insert slot, followed by the compressor. Make sure to use 100% send to the compressor sidechain. Adjust the send amount to the reverb to taste. I'm using the following settings for the compressor, and I've kept it nice and simple by using FabFilter's Pro C2 compressor. For style, I'm using clean. I'm doing this because I want a simple ducking response from the compressor. If you want to experiment, try using pumping, as that will swell the reverb and give a denser response. Adjust threshold to taste, and in this instance I've set it to -32 decibels. I've kept attack at the fastest possible setting, 0.005 milliseconds, but you can adjust this to suit the response you're after. Be aware of the different compressor topologies and how they behave, as this will have a marked effect on the compressor's response. Adjust release to taste, and I've timed it to be most affected at 17 milliseconds for this particular vocal delivery. I'm not using the parallel feature as I'm after simple ducking and nothing else. You can hear what a difference the compressor has made to all the above examples. The clarity of the initial vocal transients is unaffected, and the reverb introduces itself far more smoothly than a simple triggered pre-delay. This technique works for any sound. I use it when applying reverb to guitars, pianos, anything plucked, percussive sounds, and so on. There are literally no rules governing what you can use ducked reverbs for. To end this example, it is interesting to note that more and more manufacturers are including ducking as a feature on reverb plugins. In fact, Unfiltered Audio's Tails, which I've used here, comes with its very own ducker, but for obvious reasons I opted to use a compressor. In example 4, I'm going to show you a very cool technique that we poor engineers use to make a lead vocal cut through a mix. The problem with optimizing vocals within a mix is that you have all manner of shared frequencies to contend with. Vocals tend to encompass quite a significant frequency range, irrespective of gender, and predominantly in the mid-range, which is where most sounds dominate. In fact, people think the low end is difficult to manage. Quite the opposite. It's the mid-range that is always hard to negotiate, as so many sounds and instruments share frequencies within that range. Separating sounds and managing summing in this range is always a challenge because, we don't have enough to deal with. It can be quite easy to end up in that abyss of tweaking whereby you raise the gain of the vocals and now it's too loud, drop the gain and it's being masked by other sounds. It's the same scenario with EQ. Boost the specific vocal frequency range and you're now altering both the timbre of the vocals and the dynamics, which in itself can result in frequencies poking above other shared frequencies or masked by the same shared frequencies. So what do? Well, a very potent technique is to drop the gain of the mix where the vocals share frequencies, only when the vocals are active. And when the vocals are inactive, the gain rises back to where it was prior to the attenuation. We achieve this by using the sidechain feature of a multiband compressor, or in this instance, a dynamic equalizer. It's not very helpful ducking an entire mix to accommodate the space for the vocals to explore. It's far better to isolate the mix's frequency range where the vocals sit and duck that specific range rather than the whole mix's frequency spectrum.